Hey everyone, this is bloodmako, and this is my run of Terra's Lufenia. My team consists of Terra, Gladio, and Sarah. So again, I'm doing another team comp where it's a very counter team comp. It's very similar to my boss rush video where I'm also using Gladio, but this time we can't really do a full counter team with Trey because we need at least two party members to do non-elemental magic damage so that the orb count will keep increasing. I chose Gladio mainly because these bosses has a move where they will delay one party member all the way to the back, which is very good for Gladio. I actually did a run where I was trying to use it instead of Gladio, but while the run almost was successful, there wasn't enough damage and to hit the turn count, and there was not enough healing as well, because towards the end, I think past the 29% mark, the bosses will start doing a AoE HP attack, which does a lot of damage if you get broken or if there's no HP reduction, which Gladio provides. So the name of the game is to mainly counter them, keep the orb in check, and to maintain 3 debuffs as long on the bosses as possible. But that is for Sarah's aura, which increases HP and grave damage dealt. You can actually see a difference before and after the 3 debuffs that I actually put down. At the 79% mark and 49% mark, the bosses will cleanse themselves and put up a shield and gain a red aura. While this red aura is up, the bosses will not be able to be debuffed by non-frame debuffs, which is to say Sarah's poison will not work on them. And the only way to get rid of this red aura is to actually do around 11 to 12% of their health, after which attacks will come out and say concentration was lost. When the bosses hit 79%, 49% and 29%, they will actually delay themselves a few turns for you to get the chance to break them. Right then you can actually plan your move, because if you're following the same team comp as me, you actually need Terra to use her LD to burst the boss's health down so that they will lose the red aura. Because if the red aura is still up and they actually do their needle plus plus move, which is called needle shot plus plus, Gladio will be able to tank one, but if the second one goes immediately, he will just die, because the first one will actually reduce his health by more than half, which will not cause last stand to trigger. So that is something to be very careful of. If need be, you should consider doing Terra's LD twice, just so that you can take down the aura. I had actually planned to use it instead of Gladio, so that I could dodge their Red Aura Lethal move. And it worked, because they are required to hit you before they cleanse your buffs. Which is why it was initially, for me at least, a good member in this party, because he could just dodge everything and counter twice. However, even after countering twice, he just did not have the damage to take the bosses down in time to hit turn count. But you can actually consider using it if you do not have Gladio and you have maybe Terra's Burst instead. Because it is actually a very good tank for this particular fight. All you have to do is place his taunt after they cleanse, and you should be able to cover your party members all the way. So at the 49% mark, the bosses will cleanse themselves again. They will gain the shield and their Red Aura, which is why I opted to use the Bros LD, just so that I can put 2 debuffs on them. And over here you can actually see me trying to see if Terra would move behind Sarah's turn. Because Terra herself has no debuffs, or rather cannot debuff the bosses, which is why I was trying to see if Sarah could go first, just so that I can put the 3 debuffs up and increase the HP damage done. However, Terra would go immediately, which defeats the purpose of using one of her skills, be it S1 or S2, which is why I opted to just LD immediately. Bringing a character that has a burst, it would be a good time, or at least I would recommend you to burst during the 49% phase after applying all debuffs if you're playing Sarah. That is to just whittle the bosses down while in the burst sequence, so that you're able to do maximum damage and not worry about the Red Aura after the burst animation. Alternatively, if you're not going to bring the burst character like me, you can just use most, or rather 2 of your calls now. For me it was the Bros LD and Hope's LD as well. And that is because at 49%, after the bosses cleanse, they will not cleanse anymore. At 29% they will not cleanse, which is why it's a really good time to apply all your debuffs so that you can maximize your damage. I would say to not use your summon now if you're not in any danger, because at 29% my team, I realized, was actually running out of steam. Most of their skills were used up. Sarah, which had 10 of her S2 skills, ended with, I believe, 2 or 1 skill left, and that's with perfect cuts on her. So I would say be very careful with your stuff, because it could be your emergency button. Alternatively, if you do not have Terra built, or you did not get her LD, you can also try using Ultimacia. I have seen comps with Terra and Ultimacia on the same team, but I think that Ultimacia will also work fine with Sarah. Mainly because the way Ultimacia and Terra work is more or less the same, in the sense they will both give themselves headshots, which is very important for this boss fight. Because for the bosses do delay themselves, it is not by much. Right now we are at the last phase of this fight, at the climax. As I've said many times before, the bosses are not going to cleanse themselves. But at this point, they will actually do Group Pandaga Plus, which does HP damage. And this is the reason why it was not viable in this fight. Mainly because I could not hit the HP threshold. Because for 8 dodges, Terra and Sarah just tanks the damage. Another time where I actually failed was because I actually replaced Gladio while in the summon with Ramza, thinking that, oh, I will be able to utilize his LD more as compared to Gladio, which actually doesn't do much damage. But the thing was, after the summon ended, the bosses immediately went, and they just did Needle Shock Plus on Ramza. Both of them did the move once on him, and he immediately died. So as you notice, I do not have a healer on my team, so there was no way to get back the health to reach the health threshold, which is why I had to use that one game. And it is also the reason why you see me not using Defense even though he is available to me. And even though my team is running out of skills, because I just did not want to take the risk. You could say, oh, you could actually swap out either Terra or Sarah. And I will say you're right, but the problem is that Sarah is actually keeping the op count in check. Because even though Terra is also able to do the same, the only move that actually increased both op count is a S2. Because an S1 only does brave damage to a single target. Which is why I opted to play safe and just not replace any of them. Because as you can see, my turn count was still fine. My only worry was the HP threshold, which towards the end you can see me checking and making sure that everybody is at full health. So at this part of the fight, I was already quite tired, mainly because I've been trying this Lufenia for quite a great amount of time. I was telling myself, why won't this boss die? Because for some reason they seem to be very tanky at the end, mainly because I actually ran out of skills and I was just looking forward to killing them. And at this point of time, you can see the bosses are going to do their all attack again. their AoE HP attack. And I was like, oh no, am I gonna hit the HP threshold? Because I was lucky for the first few times where because of Hope's LD, my party's health is overhealed. And as you can see, Sarah was actually damaged to the point where her health bar became green. And I was thinking that, oh, Gladio's counter is going to finish it off. Will I be able to make the HP threshold? Because I do not want to do this fight again. After trying, what, maybe 6-7 times, 4 to 5 times with 8, and twice with his team comp. And I was also worried about the first count, but lucky for me, we were able to finish it off with Gladio's EX. So I will show you my team artifacts and spheres at the end. And well, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.